Hi there, Tamara Dorris, your real estate coach, your sales coach, your whatever you want me to be, coach. I am just super excited to be able to talk to you today because I had an interesting conversation the other day and it sparked this idea for this video. The person asked me, they said they were looking, I don't know, they were looking maybe at my website and they saw my qualifications. And I do air quotes because I think we get certified and degreed and all the things pedigreed that we get, and it just adds to what we already know, or what we're driven and passionate about doing. And so this person asked me, like, you're an EFT person, you do hypnotherapy, you do Reiki, and I know so many, and I bet you do too, if you're into self-help at all, so many people that are certified in all of these things. And what I really want to point out today is that in order to manifest an intention, in order to bring an intention from your imagination to your physical reality, all of those things are what I put in the pile of number 3. Let me explain. There are really 3 steps to manifest, and you don't need any of those. You don't need to pay anyone. It just expedites it, but you don't need to. And part of the reason I have this channel is I want to help people and I want to help them for free. Sometimes it takes more than that, but this is a really, really good start. So the 3 things are, number 1, you have to have a true intention. And when I say a true intention, I want to point out that a lot of people think they want something so that they can have something else. And that's a big mistake in manifestation. Conscious creation, whatever you want to call it. It's a big mistake. Why is it a big mistake? Because if you want this so you can get rid of that so that you can then work on this, you're just adding extra steps. And this that you want to get rid of this is not a true intention. It's what I call a negative intention because you want it to relieve yourself of some discomfort. Does that make sense? So if you say you want a lot of money so you can get the debt off your back and finally catch up and open that side business or move, buy a new house, start a new something, whatever, you're making it harder on yourself because you're adding an extra step in there. This is what manifestation has been teaching us for years, and it's really, really wrong. So take note of this. I have a lot of people in real estate, and they think their big manifestation is that they want more money. But they don't want more money. They want the relief and the freedom they think more money will get them. So I promise you, you will cut to the chase if you just take the money out of the equation and instead focus on what you want. If it's the freedom you want, then what will you do with that freedom? Will you go on vacation? Will you send your kids to college? What are some of the amazing things that you do with that freedom and that financial security? But if you are one of those people, one of those agents who are thinking, I want more money so I don't have to constantly be worried about money. Do you see how that's not a heartfelt intention? That's not what I call a true intention. It's a negative intention. So that's number 1. And it's amazing. It seems like I shouldn't even have to talk about this, but literally 95% of the clients I have, they come to me because they want to make more money and get more clients so they're not stressed out. That's not the right way to do it. Pick what you want. And we're so programmed, conditioned, hypnotized to think that we can't have what we really want. So I'm just going to make a lot of money in real estate so then I can have what I really want someday. No, 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 no. What do you really, really want? Start there. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, is wise enough, smart enough to know that you're going to need some money along the way. So that really needs to not be your prime focus. Okay? So number one, true intention. You have to sit and think about it for a minute. And you can stop me right now if you want to and write it down. But I would encourage you to just breathe, close your eyes, and think about, if I just gave you $10 million, what you would do. What would you do? You have to do something in your life to keep your life being fun and contributing. What would you do? Start there. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is we have to resonate with the frequency of the end result of the thing that we say that we want, if it's a true intention. Now, you hear a lot of lip service these days, law of attraction lip service on have a high vibe and frequency. But let's just look at what this is. A vibration is something that's oscillating. The entire universe, and this goes back pre-biblical days, the entire universe is vibrating. That is like the first law of the universe. It's always vibrating. It's always moving. Particles into waves and vice versa, always moving. Even a dead body doesn't sit still. It decays, right? So things are always moving. Well, the problem with all this law of attraction lip service, and I'm guilty of it too. I'll say to people, have a high vibe day, but I want to make sure you understand the difference. So vibration is what's happening all the time. A frequency is the speed at which a vibration is oscillating. So you have a vibration, and the way that it oscillates is how fast it's moving. I like to use the term, especially with all the overused terminology of high vibes and whatnot. I like to use the term resonance, because what the real goal for number 2 is that you resonate. That means your energetic frequency is on the same level of the outcome of the true intention that you want. So ideally, I could say have a high vibe and get what you want. And that wouldn't be that far off from the truth if you're doing these other steps correctly. It really wouldn't. And I've had it work in my life many times. But the more I've learned and the more I've studied and researched and experimented and applied, I've realized that if we really understand this little small, subtle, but significant difference, it can help us. So it's not just about having a high vibration. It's about finding the emotion, which an emotion, for sake of argument, you can just say an emotion is energy in motion, and you can say that an emotion is a frequency, right? If you are vibrating very high and you're super happy and joyful and grateful, you have a high vibration, right? And if you are vibrating really low, it's a dense vibration. So the goal is to decide what vibration you would have if you had your true intention come true. Right? So think about it. Imagine that it's just happened and get in touch with that feeling. And I promise you, if you have a true intention and it really means a lot to you, you're going to be able to imagine what it would feel like if you just had it. You can't just say, I want to climb, Mount Everest next spring just for the fun of it. And it's really a true intention if it's really not, because then it's not going to work, right? I'm not saying you can't climb it. I'm just saying that you're not going to have the same traction as you will if it's something that's really in your heart. And I say that with all confidence because if it's in your heart, it's part of your DNA. It is part of your spiritual DNA. Like, you are supposed to do this. You are meant to do this. This is your thing and you get to do it. But now you have to get out of your own way. Okay, so number 1, make sure it's a true intention. Number 2, resonate at the same frequency of the end result. So let's just say, hypothetically, you want to sell 50 houses a year. Like, that's your dream. And it's not so you can go open up a bakery or move to Bali. It's because you really dig real estate and you want to build this business and you want your kids to go on it, and you just have this whole, ideology of what it will look like. That means it's in your heart. It's a true intention. So you want to sell these 50 houses a year to get you in a position where you can build a big brick and mortar franchise. Let's just say, okay, so what would it feel like if you had that? Don't worry about debt. Don't worry about bills. Don't worry about anything else. Just focus on the feeling. Find the feeling of what it would feel like to have those things. I mean, that outcome. Now, hypothetically, but seriously, you're going to feel really stinking good, right? You're going to be like, yes, it's going to be a very high vibration. But that's the resonance you need to keep at most of your waking hours. So number 3 is the biggest one, and that's why I save it for the end. But understand that this ties back into what I started this video with, talking about all the tools, because number 3 is the biggie, and that is, how often every day do you allow yourself to get out of resonance with the true intention that you set for yourself? So I can sit here and close my eyes and think about, I'm going to have a New York Times best-selling book, right? I've already done 2 Amazons, but now I'm headed for New York Times, right? So I can imagine it. I can envision it. I can think about getting out at the Ritz-Carlton and having a limousine pick me up and taking me to a book signing. I'm so super excited. This is the vibration. I'm in resonance with it right now. And I'm doing great. If it was just 1 and 2, which it really is, I'd be cool. But number 3 pops its ugly head up. And what is number 3? It's all the distractions, the obstacles, the triggers, the proof that I don't have it yet. In other words, it's our unconscious beliefs that we're not going to get it. I want to make sure this really, really gets in your brain, right? Because this is what took me years to get. So if I'm thinking about it as if I already have it, like Neville Goddard said, think about the wish fulfilled. I already have it. So I'm in this vibration. Like I'm in this vibration so strongly that I don't even need anything to happen because I'm living it right now. That's the ticket. That's the secret sauce. That's what we need to do. But what happens is we open our eyes from our metacreation or whatever, and we start getting out there and life goes on, and a phone call comes. It makes me mad, and a transaction falls through. I get a bill from the IRS. Like, what are you talking about? I owe $8,000. All these things happen, and I am spending my day reacting to them because every time one of those things happen, it triggers an unconscious belief within me that usually is telling me I can't have what I want. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Money's hard to make, whatever it is. And so I'm spending my days, as you know, the expression goes, putting out fires. But what I'm really doing is spending my days reacting, calming down, reacting, calming down, reacting, calming down. And just by virtue of me reacting to whatever external stimulus that I think happened, and it really didn't, and that's a whole nother quantum conversation, but I'm spending so much time and energy reacting, trying to fix this problem that came up, that frequency, my fixing frequency, is putting out more and more of that level, which is a low vibration. So how far away am I pushing my dream, my true intention now? I am pushing it really far away. Do you see that? When I'm sitting here, I have my true intention. I'm in resonance with it. I feel it. I'm happy about it. I'm so happy and so sure it's going to happen that I'm living in the emotion of having it right now. So when you think about it, you don't really need it to happen because you're in the emotion now. And guess what? Everything you want is only so you can have the emotion of it. Do you get that? So I'm living in the emotion of it now. I feel it. I'm super happy. And then something happens and it like thunks me in the head. This isn't true. Look at that. This isn't true. You got this bill. This isn't true. Look what they said. Now, if when that happened, I did some EFT, I calmed down, or I did hypnotherapy, or I did some sound therapy, or I had a Reiki session, or whatever the heck, doesn't matter. Maybe for me, I just go out in the sunshine and sit under one of my big redwood trees. That's usually my quick fix. Now I calm myself down, and guess what? I have not exploded into the universe all of this frequency that says, I can't have it, I can't have it, I can't have it. Because when I do that on a daily basis, all I'm doing is pushing it further and further and further away. But when that happens, something hits me. Like the other day, the IRS said, oh, by the way, you owe us $8,500. And I'm like, ah, but I know how this works. So I said, no, I don't. But before I respond, react, any of that, I'm going to bring myself to a place of peace, do some EFT, maybe spend 5 or 10 minutes. I think I spent 10 times imagining in my mind that it was all fine. You see the difference in that energy? Pick up the phone. 20 minutes later, it's knocked off the chart. It was a mistake. But I guarantee you, if I would have freaked out, screamed, called out, yelling, ah, I'd owe the money. And that goes for any of us all the time. Nothing special about me. We all have, this is how the universe works, right? We put energy out and we get evidence of the energy coming back at us. But yet we run around thinking, oh my gosh, why doesn't anything ever go right for me? How is this happening again? We don't want to realize that we're the ones doing it by reacting to what we don't want. Do you get that? The more that we react to the things that we don't want, that we think are random events, and they're not, the more that we're pushing what we really want away. If we can wake up and we can say, okay, everything that goes on in my external world today is merely a reflection of the energy, the unconscious expectations, the old wounds maybe I haven't dealt with, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. That's not what this video is about. We're talking about manifestation now. So if I wake up and I say, whatever comes across, I'm watching myself today. And the minute I start to feel triggered, just even the slightest bit irritated or agitated, I'm going to do EFT. I'm going to read something inspirational. I'm going to start singing. Very high vibration. Singing is very healing. If it's, not headbanging heavy metal, but you know what I'm saying. Anything inspirational. I'm going to get that trigger, that stress out of my system so I can be calm. And I guarantee you, I will give you $100 if I'm wrong. You have to do it a whole day, though. I guarantee you that if you can get through a whole day without reacting, only responding, without frantically trying to fix something, I guarantee you, just within like a day, you're going to notice a lot of difference. I'm not saying that you'll have $1 million tomorrow, but I am saying all of a sudden, your conscious mind is going to say, oh, you should call that person. Oh, did you notice that? Things that you don't normally notice because your reticular activator is like on vacation when you are in the stress cortisol zone. Does that make sense? So being calm takes all the tools that I talked about. Maybe it doesn't for you. I do EFT almost every day. I medicate every day. I meditate every day. I try to get in nature every day. These are the things that will keep me calm. Now, I do want to add on one caveat, and that is when I said about unconscious things coming up, most of the time, the things that trigger you in your life, whether it's a past due bill or a client quitting on you or using a different agent, for example, if you're in real estate, whatever it is, where something that would really trigger you, oftentimes, and when I say often, I mean like all the time, literally most all the time, those are triggers that are caused from an unconscious belief. And so there's not one solid, sure way to eliminate that, except to say that until you deal with it, it's going to keep popping up. And I believe 100% with all my heart that the work that I do and the work that I help my clients do helps to eliminate that. But even so, even I have clients that I've worked with for years, and I struggled for years myself, because it's an ongoing thing that we have to keep recognizing that everything that's hitting us from the outside is just a reflection of our energy from the other day, from last week, from last month. And it's got to play itself out. But if every time I get triggered from something someone says or does, and even if I get to the point where I don't freak out about it anymore, but I'm like, okay, let's think about this. There's something in there that has to be released. Okay, so that, I kind of went off on that a little bit and I didn't mean to, but that's the story right there. This is like an 18, 19-minute video, but it's the story of everything. And it applies to you, it applies to me, it applies to every breathing human being. So you have been gifted with a brain to imagine and think, a heart to feel, and the ability, the free will, to focus on what you want as opposed to all the things that pop up that you don't want, that you think are happening to you, but they're really happening to show you, for you, to show you what you've been thinking and vibrating prior to this. So hopefully that's helpful. Leave me a comment and let me know. Please subscribe, and I will talk to you later. Have a beautiful day.